next topic. And this next topic is going to be another super hyped up manhwa / webtoon. And that is Solo Leveler. Guys, this is going to be an open discussion, all right? So feel free at any time. And one of the biggest things I want to say is this. I started reading Solo Leveler, and this, like, we're used to isekai stuff, right? We're used to that stuff. We're used to people, going to a new world. But this is something that they made actual, like, game system, like you play World of Warcraft and stuff like that, in their own world. And they integrated it as like jobs within the world. It was new for its being, the way they set it up. It's great. You know what? I might be spoiled with colored art now.
It's beautiful. It's great. It's great art.
Solo Leveler takes it to a whole nother level, man. The art is so good, and it's freaking, the action and the character build-up is amazing. Yeah, we have an overpowered character, but they show you every little bits and pieces and how he gets stronger. And like, it's not just like OP. It's not like One Punch Man. Yep, automatically OP. Like, it's not like that. But you see his progressional path throughout the whole thing, and it's just absolutely awesome. I loved it. I actually started reading it. I got tired of reading it because I didn't want to wait for the next chapter. And then I went and read the light novel. I went and read the whole light novel, and I just binged the entire thing. So what do you guys think about the new hyped Solo Leveler?
For me, Solo Leveling is not hype.
Oh.
I started reading it recently. I am I think like 50 chapters in.
Muninn, I know you said it's not as hyped for you. But what do you see different that you like from this actual manhwa or webtoon? Like, because I know a lot of people are really taking a lot from it, especially the animation style. Like I said, the coloring of it, and like altogether the story itself is pretty good for a lot of people. What about you? What do you take from it? What is something that you actually like of it?
What I really like is the art. It is beautiful. It is well executed. The coloring is always flashy. It just fits together. Where it is lacking for me is actually the story and the character build-up.
Mm-hmm.
That's where it is lacking for me. Not that it's lacking so much that I would drop it. I will read it, but it's not, for me, same as Demon Slayer. It's not hype material for me.
So is it too fast or is it too slow for you?
I cannot say too fast or too slow. It's just the how the story is told.
Okay. All right.
It's an acquired taste, I will say. I mean, you can't really be like it's the same acquired taste as like it's like season 1 of Sword Art Online. Kind of like that same acquired taste. You know what I'm saying? It's like OP dude, long hair, looks like he fucks. just this genuine badass human being. That's he just
he was
he
was the weakest person. He was the weakest person when they started off.
Oh yeah, but that story's been told hundreds of times. I mean, even at the beginning of One Punch Man, it showed him as like a weak dude that had to kill a giant crab with his necktie. You know what I'm talking about?
I have to correct my last talk. Well, now that I thought about it again, I have to correct my last answer. In the beginning, I think his overpoweredness is too fast.
Oh, too fast?
Yes.
Oh.
I think he gets overpowered too fast. He still has some challenges he has to face. But overall, the thing that it actually keeps me reading it is the whole thing that he is hiding it.
Oh,
yeah, like the emotion, like the emotional distress from worrying if people find out your secret is like more action packed than him like killing stuff.
Yeah.
It's kind of like Death Note in that regard.
Oh, Death Note. Oh yeah, you know what? I didn't think about it. I didn't think it's in that context.
I mean, I'm like at like the beginning, you guys said, and I told Ike when I was reading it that it felt like a backwards version of a hardcore leveling warrior. because Junwoo starts weak, gets stronger, and hardcore leveling war is he starts off strong, and then
Mhm.
something happens. You will see if you read it, if you check the previous podcast, I talked about it. But I mean, in my opinion, I can get what Muninn is saying that it goes too fast. It definitely has a little feeling that he goes a bit hard, like he's actually like if you were like playing MMORPG, it's like 8 hours, 16 hours straight, like playing the game, So that's
Okay.
how it feels. So
Well,
I can get
it's a
it.
redundant concept to me. That's in my opinion. That's the reason why it gets old. Is the whole concept, and that's the reason why Muninn finds it fascinating when he's trying to hide it, because that's the only branch of like the story that makes it more interesting. If that makes sense.
Yeah,
Yes.
true.
That's the only thing
That
that
is true.
changes. The
Actually, I
original
have to
concept
say-
is I'm weak. I'm going to go grind on WoW for 20 hours.
Mhm.
Actually,
something-
I have to say, if that wouldn't be the case, I'm not sure if I would read it.
Yeah. It's just a redundant concept, because like once you get past like the whole I'm trying to hide my power level kind of thing, it's really just go off, grind mats for 20 hours, come back, me be strong now. That's just sorry.
I see what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah,
You know what?
it's a
Actually,
redundant concept.
on that, so when I first found the manhwa or webtoon, when I first found it, I started reading it, right? And I got all the way to the point where I think it's where he's in the dungeon with his friends again. I'm not gonna say everything to it, but the dungeon with his friends again. But this time it ran out, so I was like, okay, I'm gonna read it. And when I read the light novel, there's actually a lot more like details and thinking that they put in the actual manhwa or webtoon. And I'm kind of surprised they don't do that mental monologue that he was doing in the story. They do it sometimes where he's thinking of it, but a lot of the times he is constantly thinking when he's doing these battles. That's like the very first scene when he's dealing with the what is it? The first dungeon he goes into after he actually gets the powers. That whole thing, him fighting those wolves or the hellhounds or whatever they're called, dude,
Yeah.
he's constantly thinking the entire time about, oh, this is gonna happen after this, and they do well in the manhwa, but there's more thinking in it, which I kind of wish they would have put in it. I kind of wish they would have put that in the manhwa, because it kind of brings more big brain sense to it. Which is, I kind of wish they would have done that. And I see what you're talking about, Muninn.
Yeah, the thing is that also was kind of sad for me to the point where I am, as I said, I'm not finished, not up to date. I'm in like chapter 50 or so. Is that they didn't explore his thoughts and how he thinks while fighting, because without I tried to explain it without spoiling pizza.
I think it's weird too, because in the light novel they do talk.
You were in that part. You were in that part.
Yep.
I know you were in the part. Okay. And right at the beginning, when they are in this dungeon, in this A-level or higher dungeon, he is the one that has the brain.
True.
Yeah, he is.
And after he gets this strong, it's like he lost his brain for power.
It's kind of like if you go into a dungeon in World of Warcraft at a low level, you got to think about what you're doing, but once you get strong enough, you can just run through it and not even worry about it.
That is true. That is true.
It's just like it.
That's interesting, dude. That's interesting. But when you keep on with it, I'm gonna tell you now, because I don't want to spoil it for everyone. It gets even bigger, big brain later on, because of how his powers expand. That he finds out there's so much more to it, and so when you get to that sector, you'll be like, oh, and you're gonna be. Go ahead.
In the part where I am was actually it was the second time it showed that he had a little bit brain.
You're gonna get there. He's gonna have a lot of big brain moments, especially when he fights these certain people, which technically he is not strong enough to beat. Technically, and you're gonna see how big brain he gets and the tactics that he has to use to win. And it's not just overpoweredness; it's actually him tactically fighting these people. and you're gonna like it later on. Yeah, he is still overpowered as hell, but it really brings that concept together that he's not just strength, or he needs to start using it because he actually thinks about it himself. He keeps focusing on just his strength, and then he starts realizing that he needs to think of the next step and this step, and he starts inner monologuing his actual battles later on. So that is one thing that you're gonna get to see later. It's gonna be good. You're gonna like it. Keep reading.
I will keep reading it. I won't drop it. So.
Do you think it needs an anime though?
Hey Otakus, this is Ike Senpai. Thank you for watching that short clip of Otaku International podcast. If you like that content, go watch the full clip on our Otaku International YouTube channel. Thank you for watching. Follow our social medias, like, subscribe, hit that notification button, and comment below. Keep updated, Otakus. We'll see you next time.